Are you struggling to find your first photography clients? I'm about to share with you my formula for how I completed 150 paid photo shoots within just the first 4 months of opening my photography business. Hi, my name is Zoe and I am a 26-year-old full-time photographer and travel lover based in Washington, D.C. And today I am going to share with you how I got my first few clients and skyrocketed my photography business even in the middle of a pandemic. If you have watched my last few videos, then you probably know that I launched my brand new photography business just a few weeks before the US went on safer at home orders and lockdowns all across the country amidst the global coronavirus pandemic. By using just a few very simple methods, I have managed to book well over 100 paying photo shoots since the US has gone on this lockdown, and 50 of them within just the first 6 weeks of my business's existence. Now, while the results that you receive from these methods may vary based on the type of photography work that you do, for example, a lot of my photography work also is based around photographing objects and places and not people, which has allowed me to continue working throughout the pandemic. When I started, I was just like you, with a very limited portfolio and no idea where I was going to get my first paying photography clients. And here I sit today, having made more money in the last 4 months than I did in the entire first year of my post-grad job working in operations management. So, if you are wondering where your first few photography clients are going to come from, sit back, grab a snack, and let me show you how I did it. So, my first few methods are going to talk about ways that you can make a little bit of money while building up your portfolio, because building your portfolio is going to be the #1 thing that helps move you along the path towards getting those bigger paying clients in the future. Now, I, at the beginning, did some free work and some paid work that didn't pay a whole lot. It was essentially just covering my time and wear and tear on my equipment. However, I did not stick in this area for a very long time. And I went about my free work in a way that would get me paying clients down the road, as opposed to setting up a reputation with a certain group of people that I would work for free for a continued amount of time. So, the first baseline thing that I did to build my portfolio was shooting my friends and my husband over and over and over again. And now you're saying, but wait, I've already done that. If that's the case, then you can totally skip this step. The very, very, very first paid shoots that I did were with these people who were special in my life that I had photographed with my camera over and over again as I was on my journey to deciding I wanted to become a full-time photographer. So I had a little bit of portfolio work from these people, but in bridging the gap between a portfolio and being able to market myself, I went back to these people and said, hey, I know I photographed you in the past. Would you mind if I photographed you for a big event coming up? And I'd charge you like $30 to $50. Base this on your market. Do not price yourself at nothing in a major market. So the people that I photographed for like $20 to $50 was people outside of the DC metro area, whereas if I was in the DC metro area, I would have probably bumped that up almost double because of what the going rate of photography is in DC. But I went to these close friends and family members in their home environment and photographed them there and priced myself for the low end of that market. And basically what I said was, hey, I know I photographed you before. I know you know what my work looks like. In exchange for you paying me this base fee for my time, I will deliver you all of the digital files that turn out well from this photo shoot. And I didn't quote a number, it was just, I'll give you all of the reasonable digital files. And that way they were essentially getting a model call like trade for my work. And I got to use those photos that I had taken of people who were already comfortable working with me and use them for my portfolio, for my Instagram, and for my website. And they had even more great photos that I had taken of them for their social media. So friends that are on dating apps, ask them if they want a couple of photos to update their profile. This can be like a 10 or 15 minute photo shoot if it's a close friend, because you don't have to have that warm-up time of them getting used to you and being in front of your camera, because you've probably already done it before. Anyone that's graduating, especially right now, graduations aren't happening, so people are more likely to, if you are in an area where it's safe to do so, people are more likely to spend more money on their graduation photos / get them taken more than once, because they aren't getting to walk across that stage. So if you know of a college or high school senior, ask if they want to get a quick graduation photo shoot done. And if there's someone really close to you, maybe they've already had it done, but because they know you, they're willing to go through a second shoot with you. So my first 3 photography clients, my first 3 paying photography clients were my husband, my husband's best friend, and one of my best friends, and I took their senior graduation portraits for them. So the next thing that I did to work on building my portfolio was to reach out about shooting events for free. Now I'm not talking about weddings. This is just like billing candid photos of like 1 to 2 people. So there is a group in DC that hosts local happy hour events, and early February, before all of the lockdown stuff happened, I had reached out to this happy hour company and basically said, hey, do you mind if I come take some photos at your happy hour? You can use them for free on your social media, and then I can use them for free in my portfolio. So I, on my Instagram, promoted the happy hour company a little bit after the event, and then they promoted me as the photographer on their Instagram feed. And I picked this specific event company because they had a super aesthetic looking Instagram feed that really matched my vibe as a photographer. So if you go on Instagram and search for businesses in your area or events in your area, or just like look at photos that are tagged with the location of your area, you can find Instagram feeds of companies that are similar to yours, and if they're hosting an event, ask to go and shoot their event. And then as a result of that, I have been promoted by both this company and by the restaurant where this event took place. And I have gotten a couple of inquiries back from them, particularly from the restaurant continuing to promote my photos as well. So this is not something that I would recommend doing a ton, but if there is either businesses you really want to work with or brands that are local to you that you really want to work with and who have a similar style to you, it's a great way to network and make connections as a new small business owner. And if there are any local nonprofits that have a cause near and dear to your heart, I can tell you that for me, as someone who's worked in nonprofit management, nonprofits would love to work with photographers willing to donate their time. So this is something that I plan to continue doing for the duration of my photography career, is every couple of months finding an organization that I can partner with to provide my services as a photographer. Now, if you are working with a nonprofit, please, please, please make sure you are doing this out of the goodness of your heart and not just for trying to get new clients. New clients might come out of this, but a big part of this is promoting your brand as a wholesome, well-rounded brand and getting an agreement with a nonprofit to be able to use those happy, smiling-faced photos from their event in your portfolio and on your social media. So you are promoting the nonprofit, you are getting some good photos that you can use on your social media, and if you get clients out of it, that is great. You probably will, but please go into this out of the kindness of your heart and not just like trying to shark new clients, because I have plenty more ways that you are going to get some more of your first clients. So the next place that I got some of my first clients is actually from the Craigslist classified ads. So you can do this on Craigslist, you can do this on the Facebook classifieds, you can do this on any local classified, like through your local newspaper or what you might have in your area or your country. But for me, I went to the Craigslist page for my area and I expanded it out to basically as far as I was willing to drive for a paid shoot. And then I looked in the gigs section of the classified ads on Craigslist, and I did this multiple times a day. And I still do this about once a day, once every 2 days, just to see what is popping up. But essentially, people post looking for photographers all the time. And I have gotten several good paying shoots from the Craigslist ads because people are looking for something specific and they don't want to have to go searching for a photographer. They want a photographer to come to them. So I have done a property in Philadelphia, I have done a property in Pittsburgh, I have done 2 properties out in West Virginia that were all just like photos of farmland and undeveloped land that people were either selling or had purchased and wanted photos to take to developers to get an idea of what the grading of the land and the terrain looked like. And those were super fun because I got to spend like an entire day out in nature in these areas outside of these major metropolitan areas that I never would have gone to otherwise. And then another big one was a local recording artist who had recently had an album blow up on Spotify but didn't have any recent media coverage, asked for me to come do a 1-hour portrait session with him so that he could have new artwork to put in his press kit. So stuff like that is popping up on Craigslist all the time. If you're into product photography, I see a lot of stuff nowadays for people looking to start an eBay or an Amazon based business and need a photographer who can help them take photos for their listings for those businesses. So depending on your area, there's going to be all kinds of different things, but definitely check out Craigslist. All right, so this next one has been super beneficial to me up until this point. However, I'm only going to touch on it briefly because I think there are some changes coming in the near future that might change the way photographers look at this platform, and that is Thumbtack. So if you've never heard of Thumbtack, it is essentially a website where service providers can create a profile and then people looking for that service can search for you. And as a service provider, you can pay for direct leads of people who are interested in your service, and you can also pay to have your profile listed at the top of search. So you can pay to be listed as the top search result for a specific type of photography. So weddings, events, birthday parties, bat mitzvahs, real estate, architecture, landscape, product photography, commercial photography, literally anything that you can think of, they have a niche for that type of photography on Thumbtack. And I have gotten 3 pretty well paying clients from Thumbtack with a pretty minimal investment up until this point. Now, within the next month, they are making a change to their platform so that you have to pay to be shown in search. So I'm going to say proceed with caution. Set yourself with a pretty good, like, this is what I'm comfortable spending budget before you start out on Thumbtack. It might work for you, it might not, but it was how I got 3 of my first clients. So the next thing that I did was I worked really hard to build my website portfolio based on the shoots that I got from all of those sources that we just talked about. So I have a website that I built by myself in an afternoon. I use Squarespace, not sponsored by Squarespace. I think I'm eventually probably going to move that over to a WordPress site, but for the purpose of like just getting started, I wanted a plug and play option, and that was Squarespace for me. So affordable plug and play option got me going. I didn't do a ton of research into website types because I knew within the first year I wanted to move over to WordPress. Still probably a few months away from that, but I digress. So I worked really hard on making sure that I was putting good SEO related tags on every image I put on my website. And so you'll have to look up how to do this for your website and whatever website builder you use. But essentially every single place that you can put some type of SEO type information, put that on your website, because the biggest paying photography client that I have had to date, I got within the first 3 weeks of opening my business, and I got it by someone who found my website on Google. So this big high paying client was an entire staff for a psychiatrist's office, and so I went in and I did headshots for like 10 people on a Sunday afternoon, and then I took some photos of the spaces within the practice, like the various offices and the waiting rooms and all of that. It took me about 3 hours, and that was by far the highest paying shoot that I have had up until this point. It was super fun. I got to meet a lot of really cool people. I got to help showcase their office space and what their day-to-day life looks like for their potential clients, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And again, that was just because I took an extra hour in setting up my website to put those SEO tags everywhere that I possibly could. So again, Google how to do SEO for whatever your website builder is, and you will find tons of tips on how you can put this together for yourself. My last tip on how to get photography clients is how I am currently going about getting photography clients and the type of advertising that I am doing now. And that is through Instagram. And I don't mean just passively posting some photos to Instagram. I mean a pretty active Instagram presence. First off, you as a person is not you as a photographer. If you do not have a designated Instagram account for just your photography work, please, 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 please go make a designated account for just your photography that you aren't posting personal information about you on, like your brunch, unless it is true to your brand as a photographer. So on my personal photography page, I have like a couple of my travel photos because they are pertinent to me and my brand as a photographer. But if I was like posting photos of my dogs every other day, that's not true to the type of photography that I do. So you want a balance of like 5 to 10% showing things about you and your life, but you want 90 to 95% of what you post to be professional photos that you would put in your portfolio or that you took for a client and showcase those on your Instagram. That is because the next thing you're going to do is start direct messaging potential clients. I have done this in 2 ways. One, every time someone follows me on Instagram, I send them a direct message thanking them for following me and with a coupon for 10% off their first session if they book within the next 30 days. And the reason I set it at 10% is because you don't want the discount to be so big that it's damaging to your profit margins as a business owner to have to redeem on that coupon frequently, but you want it to be enough of a discount that someone who maybe wasn't thinking about purchasing your service right then is willing to consider it. Now, the second thing is if you are someone who photographs a specific type of thing, like if you are a food photographer or if you photograph a certain type of commercial space, by reaching out to people who might be in need of that service, like local restaurants or local business owners, and saying, hey, I'm a local photographer, I service this area, would you be interested in checking out my work? I'd love to work with you. This is a great way to get new clients as well. So all in all, starting out as a brand new photographer with no clients can be super overwhelming. But if you truly have a passion for making it a career, marketing yourself and your business just gets easier with time. The first client is always the hardest, and it's completely downhill from there. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you found something in this video that is going to help you get one of your first few photography clients, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you are interested in any more content about starting your photography business or traveling the world, please feel free to subscribe so that you can see a new video from me every single Monday. Bye guys!